A brand new Lux character design, huh? Well, sure. Let's do a reaction to a Legends of Runeterra announcement video. Presumably there'll be another couple of champions that turn up over the next however many days until the thing launches. It's April something or other. April 24th. So yeah, sorry if I'm a little bit tired today. One of my cats has taken ill, threw up a couple of times. And so I've been, yeah, she's so sweet. All she's wanted to do for like the last 4 hours is just be in my room or my office here with me and occasionally jump up and sleep on my chest, which is very, very nice and sweet, and I'm very happy to do it, but also has made working incredibly difficult because I've had to do everything with one hand. So I'm a little... But I'm curious about this, because as far as I can make out from what I've seen about the communication surrounding it, this is essentially Lux's dream version of herself, and the next set is going to be Dreamlit Paths, which makes me think Lilia is obviously going to be in there, and we're going to be seeing, like, cards and versions of champions that sort of come from dreams, and presumably Nocturne. Like, my hope is that since Lux is essentially getting a Legends of Runeterra rework here, that Nocturne might also get one, because he's kind of bad and useless, and he desperately needs a better character design, which, like, Legends of Runeterra has never been able to give him. Well, Legends of Runeterra has given us the best version of Nocturne that exists so far, but still, it's Nocturne. His base design is ass. So, anyway, Lux.
This luminescence cannot be suppressed.
Do we get, like, a moment? Oh, we just get a moment to see the actual... Okay, so... the visual communication is very... you really do get the vibe of a dream, right? Because, like, it's not like there's really no landscape here, right? Like, there's no place that Lux is walking through. Like, you saw there's some Deasia and buildings sort of vaguely in the background, but the whole thing is like this space that is full of, like, this hazy light and these weird light contrasts, right? Like, where we have these deep shadows in the foreground, then we have, like, bright light, and then we have, like, almost like a hazy mist over everything in the background, and you have these swirling eddies of, like, her light magic suffusing the whole scene. So, like, it does kind of give the sense, especially with the perspective as low as it is, like, all the way down here, and we're sort of looking up at her, it really does sort of give the vibe of something a little bit ethereal and odd. Like, an odd scene that doesn't quite make physical sense in a way, but it makes sense on an emotional level that this is Lux's dream of what Deasia could be. So we've got a Dawn speaker standing there being like, yes, Luxana Crown Guard is a mage, and that is good. We like this in Deasia now. And Garen is there, is like, I approve of this, my sister. Even though well, like, what the fuck exactly his status is in the canon is a matter for some debate. But Garen, for the most part, is like, he doesn't want to kill his sister, but if push comes to shove, I'm not 100% sure he wouldn't. Or wouldn't at least die trying. Like, he would, like, intentionally die pretending like he's trying to kill. Sort of, that's the vibe I get from Garen. But Garen here is like, yes, my sister, I am proud of you. You are the light of Deasia, right? Like, rather than this rift, this conflict that exists between them now. Now we get to... And so Lux's costume sort of makes her look like a superhero, almost, right? Like, it's a version of her base character design, just with everything amped up, like these two long, impressive scarves. She has her staff, but it's like, whoa, big golden wing staff is like twice as large as the one she normally has. Her shoulder pauldrons have, like, these Demasian fleet feather, raptor feathers on them. And, like, she's sort of garbed in all of the colors of the nation. Her hair is more golden and shiny than it ever has been before. And, like, the wings on the boot. Like, it's a superhero version of Lux's base outfit. Like, that makes sense as a sort of idealized dream version of who she wishes she could be.
This luminescence cannot be suppressed.
And in keeping with what Legends of Runeterra has been saying, now they're showing us, like, rather than what used to be the focus of these champion reveal videos, which is always PvP, right? Like this is how the champion works when you're fighting against another player. Now we're getting a preview of this is what they look like in like Path of Champions, which is the only thing that which is the main thing that Legends of Runeterra's development is now going to be focusing on, pivoting back to PvE after. Oh my god, it's so stupid because like this happened like ages ago. Like when they first put the PvE mode Path of Champions out, everyone who plays Legends of Runeterra was just in there obsessively because it's a really good roguelike deck builder. Like it really genuinely is a very good, like it's fun, it's good, it's well balanced, it's a really good concept. I adore it. I have spent more time there than on any other part of Legends of Runeterra. And everyone was playing. And then Riot responded to that by going, oh, okay, we have like this thing that clearly is like everyone's playing it, everyone wants to play it, all the players of Legends of Runeterra are finding a lot of fun in it, we should focus on development of that. So they announced that we're going to focus a lot on the development of this thing, we're going to put a lot of effort and time into it, and that's sort of, they said, like, we're going to put a focus into, we're going to make a story mode for it, like, we're going to, like, expand in what we're doing there, and I was really excited by that, because Path of Champions, in the very first version, had, like, legitimate story mode to it, like a legitimate thing of like you go through these nodes and you make choices narratively with the champion where different outcomes can happen. Like there was one specific with Jinx, where you play as Jinx, and you can sort of either bring her to a point where she can briefly reconcile with Vi, like sort of look like have a nice healing moment together as sisters, or one where she leans even more into her like her violent impulses and like ends up having an even deeper rift and fight with Vi, right? Like where there's like, oh, we're telling a little story about these characters, not specifically about their arcane versions, but like something close to that. And I thought those were fucking lovely. Like Echo has a great story about his time machine sort of going wrong, spawning a sort of time ghost of himself that he then kind of has to deal with because that time ghost is going around like messing with his friends and shit. Like these little vignettes, these little stories, and I thought, shit, if they expand on that shit, then Legends of Runeterra could become actually a really cool space for telling stories in the League of Legends universe. Like not anything that has to like shake the world or radically advance a storyline, but just like you can spend a little time with them. You can see like stuff that they get up to. You can make narrative choices about them. Like there was something really cool and potentially very powerful there. And then cut to some months later, and then Riot went, we're refocusing on PvE. Like something happened internally at the Legends of Runeterra developer group. Some people left. And then, like, the company just flipped on a dime and said, actually, we're refocusing on PvE and we're deprioritizing Path of Champions. Because of, and I don't know what the fuck it is. Like, was it money? Was it a thing of, like, oh, we're not getting as many card sales now that people are playing the PvE mode, so, oh god, we have to... I don't know what the fuck it was. And then, like, they try for that for a while, and that kind of knocked my attention out, because like, I was like, I got excited by, like, oh, finally they're gonna have story content. And then, you know... Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Again, I'm kind of tired right now. This card interests me. Gero Lightfeather, because that's Ezreal. That is Ezreal's alter ego. It's what he likes to call himself as sort of a nom de plume, like a pen name or an alternate identity sort of thing. And I think we get a better look at his card at some point during this thing.
I am Luxana.
Also, Spirit. This unit has +1/+1. This keyword can stack. And that, again, seems to just sort of be evolving on... Some of the cards that were already meant to support Lux had like +1/+1. Like that's a very Deasia effect. It's like giving units +1/+1, just as like at like a baseline, which makes her like at baseline a +2/+3. But then if you silence her, which is the counter that Deasia also has access to most, like silence, then boom, like she loses a lot of her power. Which like, oh, that's mechanically, that's a really cool way to theme her as a mage. A lot of her power comes from her magic, right? She's very vulnerable to the silence, and her mechanic is very vulnerable to the silence that comes from like mage seeker mechanics.
Lady of Light.
Wait, hang on. Allies have attacked with or have gained while attacking 20+ total positive keywords. Right, so that's 20 stacks of spirit in total across all of your units, or just having 20 keywords overall so that she actually synergizes with shit like, for example, Kai'Sa. Okay.
Good afternoon, milady.
Who are you again?
Oh, he even has the rose. Oh, precious boy. Be nice if we got
Good afternoon.
But yeah, Gero Lightfeather, that is Ezreal in disguise. The funny thing about the Lux Ezreal ship is that as far as I know, that is completely something that came from players. Like, as far as I know, the Lux Ezreal ship was a community meme in the same way that like, Tarek Ezreal was. Or am I misremembering that? I cannot trust my memory. And it's sort of it's such a meme thing because like Lux canonically every single time they've hinted at any kind of interaction between Lux and Ezreal, Lux has had no interest in the fuckboy. Like just none, zero. She doesn't care about him, not interested in him, doesn't want to date him, anything except in the Hero Academia universe, Battle Academia universe. I think there's a more explicit like sort of implied romantic tension between the two of them, but more of a rivalry really.
Lady.
Who are you again?
Why would you not trade out for the okay.
Hey, little guy.
Hang on. Dreamlight Ally. 8 mana. For a 2/2. When I'm summoned, summon 5 Spritelings. For each one there isn't space for, grant the weakest ally 2 spirit instead. Okay, so that is... Because that is Lux right there. So Dreamlight Alina, so this... Oh, who are those characters? I'm kind of excited to get a proper look at these cards. Because that's Lux, and she's with someone who's reading a tome and generating, like, a barrier. Okay, so that could be... Because, like, that's 10 stacks of spirit right there, right? Assuming you have a full board. So, okay, I guess it makes sense. Like, that it's +2/+2 5 times for 8 mana.
Hey, little guys. I am not afraid of the light within. Radiance casts out every shadow.
Oh yeah, that's Nocturne she's dealing with. I want to see the splash art for that. Let's have a look at that again. Oh god, video compression on YouTube. Especially when shit is dark. YouTube just shits the fucking bed when it comes to video compression. So, big puff of dark smoke, right? Like, that's Nocturne, right? Like, that's what he does. Then we have these grasping hands, which is also like a demon thing, although that's more Ashlas, Neela's Demon of Joy thing. But here I think it is meant to be like sort of representative of Lux's fear of being trapped and pulled down and... They have a new visual style for this. This is something I should do at some point. I should do like a full video, so examining the level up animations of champions in Legends of Runeterra, because there has been like a real shift in motion and movement about the exact aesthetic of how those are put together, and I do feel like Lux's model and like just the way it's rendered here, that is a different vibe than it has been. And then, like, fully on some Star Guardian shit right here, right? Like, where she jumps up and now she has angel wings, almost. Like, so you can see the sort of... this dream of being a superhero, essentially. So, when an ally gains spirit, it gains it again. So, like, that's just... you get hella fucking value out of that particular keyword, yeah.
Careful, Lux.
Try to keep up, Garen.
What was that spell?
Remember what I said, little spark.
Is that all allies gain...
Garen.
Hey, hang on. Let me see the text. Boost all units. What the fuck is... so boost would be something that interacts with spirit, then.
Remember what I said, little spark. Just a little spark. No match for a crown guard.
Okay, let's see. Smoldering oh, Gero Lightfeather. Oh, precious boy. Precious little silly man. Boost 2 allies, then they strike an enemy one after another. Jesus, that's already... okay, so it's a slow spell, I guess, but, like, there is already Concerted Strike. Which does that, except it doesn't buff both of your fucking characters before they strike, but it sort of depends. I guess maybe boost only interacts with Spirit. Right? Maybe that's the thing. It's like it only works with something like Spirit, or only works with an ally that has already had its stats increased, I suppose. Yeah, create a prismatic barrier in one. When an ally is targeted, grant a spirit, so those two is synergize, and then they get spirit and impact, which just means you can smack shit for damage no matter what they do. Okay. There we go. We gotta look at the splash art there a little bit. Let's see if we can... Yeah, we can't really catch any details before the fucking logo shows up, but yeah. Like, this is a different visual style. It really is. Which I wonder, like, we don't know who has been doing the artwork for the new sets of cards, but like Legends of Runeterra, back when it first launched, had a very specific visual style with its cards. Like, that came from the studios that were working on it. Like, often dipping into caricature, dipping into, like, some really interesting cartoony caricature renderings of human beings. In fact, let me just fucking go and find on the wiki. No, that's Library of Ruina. That's a different thing. Yeah, sure. Fuck it. Why not? Battle Chef. Combat Chef? War Chefs, there you are. Let's see, HD, because that's one of the ones that has the right, like this kind of style of characters who have like a very specific facial construction, a very specific like a very specific look to them, right? Like that is like based in a kind of cartoony caricature style that is kind of foreign to the anime style that otherwise kind of dominates. What's the Demacian Poro? Poro Legends of Runeterra, thank you, please. Which the Plucky Poro there, because the background characters in this one also are a good demonstration of what I mean. Right? You look at this guy, these people, right? Those are caricatures, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they were caricatures of like specific artists at the studio who did the artwork for this one. But like these are very personable. Like these are very specific characters, right? These are people with very specific facial traits. You cannot say, like, you could not confuse them for one another by swapping their costumes, right? In fact, they're all wearing the same costume, and yet they are incredibly visually distinct from one another. Like clearly very distinct characters. Like, this caricature style is one of the things I really enjoyed about early Legends of Runeterra art. And in some ways, like, this from 6 More Vodka, which is responsible for, like, a huge chunk of, like, they do a bunch of splash art and shit, and, like, for League of Legends as well. But as you can see, they were responsible for just an absolutely astonishing number of the cards. In Legends of Runeterra. Like, they really defined a lot of the early visual style for that game. But I think more recently, there's other studios that have done a lot of the work on... Like, who is it from this one? Like, Kudos Productions, which is also, like, a studio that Riot contracts a lot. Like, truly just so fucking much work in League of Legends has been done by Kudos Studios. They don't have a list on the wiki yet about how much they've done on Legends of Runeterra, but it's becoming a lot more, and they have a different style. Like, they have a different approach to character artwork and like expression when it comes to human characters. Like, there's much less of that caricature style in there, and I think Lux, especially the way that she's rendered here we're dipping much more into, I wouldn't say anime style, because that's not what it is. It's still much too constructed to be anime, but like a much more smoothed down cartoon style, something that's a little bit more Saturday morning cartoon. Something that's in some ways a little bit chunkier in the way, like especially the way it handles hair. And I wonder if that's because there's a new studio working on it, or if this is like, maybe this is Kudos Productions again. I don't know. But I'm curious about that. Like, I'm curious where they're taking the art and aesthetic of Legends of Runeterra. Because it's something similar to, like, it's similar to the style that we saw with Nidalee and with Janna, right? I'm curious about that. I really should do a deep dive about it at some point. I know some people I could talk to about, like, the artwork and what the art direction was for Legends of Runeterra, so maybe I should plan some kind of interview thing with them and try and get some answers. I wouldn't mind talking to some of the artists at Six More Vodka as well. Like, whoever the fuck the lead was over there, about, like, the direction and, like, the style guide that they had for early Legends of Runeterra, and sort of assess how that's changed. I should also just do my my card review series again and sort of get into it, because, like, Legends of Runeterra, like I'm not sitting here saying, like, oh, modern Legends of Runeterra is so bad, but it has changed. Like, there's been a change in the way that it's put together, but it's still, in recent expansions, still has just some of the most gorgeous fucking fantasy art. Like, that's one thing of, like, it was competing with Hearthstone, right? Like, and Hearthstone, just, when you actually look at a lot of the card art for Hearthstone, it's just repurposed World of Warcraft assets and like Warcraft assets in general. It's just repurposed old assets. Like, that's fine. That's a good way to, like, quickly create a cool little card game. But, like, just in terms of the original artwork that was created for the game, Legends of Runeterra is like, it is genuinely on a Magic level, like Magic the Gathering level. Like, not in the sense, like, it doesn't have as deep of a library. It doesn't have, like, fucking 400 million years of being a game that has existed forever, but in terms of just how much time and effort and skill and how bespoke and custom the artwork is for Legends of Runeterra, it rivals, like, the level of like craft and artistic discipline that like Magic the Gathering shows on its cards. It's always had a more limited specific art style. Magic the Gathering is all over the fucking place. That's one of the things I love about Magic the Gathering's art, is that they kind of go all over the fucking place with the kind of artwork that they make for their cards. But Legends of Runeterra is just, like, as an artistic project, as a collection of art pieces and visual storytelling. My God, like, going through these things it's a fucking treasure trove. I should really do that more. I've been missing those streams, but they also tend to take 6 to 8 hours, and that's 6 to 8 hours of continuous talking, and scheduling that out in a day is not easy.
Does it concern you, our venture into...
Right, that's a tease for Nila.
This luminescence cannot.
Anyway, Legends of Runeterra. Yes, Lux. I managed to make a 23-minute video out of... I wonder why it looks like that. Is that, like, a new interface for... Or is that a special interface they just use for recording this thing? I don't know. 14 quests. Yeah, in her dreams, Luxana Crownguard is the mage she always wanted to be, prized by her people and celebrated for the magic that makes her unique. This Deasia is all she ever wanted, but a strange corruption has taken hold of it, forcing Luxana to journey deep into the heart of her own worst nightmare. Which, again, presumably Nocturne is going to show up. There's also, I've seen some rumors on Twitter that Vex is going to be one of the cards who's going to be in there, because someone spotted that one of the cards had a mechanic called Gloom, and that is, like, so, like, I consider that confirmation, basically, that Vex is going to be there, which also makes sense with the idea of, like, darkness and nightmares and shit. But I really do want... Give Nocturne an update, Riot. Like, if Lux can be updated like this, and it's quite good, I quite like it. I think I really like this as a vision of Lux's dreams, right? Like, of what she wishes she could be, rather than being, like, a rebel leader or a refugee leader, rather, on the frontiers of, like, Demasia's hinterlands. I quite like that. Anyway, yes, that is probably enough. I'm gonna go check on my cat. So, bye.